Hi and welcome to the Mind Body Soul experience here at Alexandra Palace, and I'm now joined by the incredible TJ Higgs, who's been busy all day at the exhibition. How's it been, Tracy?
Oh, it's been a great day. I've met some really new and exciting people that are wanting to do classes and workshops with me. Just done a demonstration that was just, the energy in the room was phenomenal. So really nice space to work in as well.
And your demonstration was quite long, wasn't it? It was like an hour and a half.
Hour and a half, yeah.
And not a lot of mediums would want to go on platform for that long.
I didn't stop. So I think we did about 12 messages. So just didn't stop. So no, well, if people have come for the day, you want to give them, their money's worth as well, don't you? And give them your time. The workshop was only an hour, and I could have done that. I could have carried on for at least another hour. Yeah. So if I'm to come back, probably I'm going to need a bit of a longer slot next time.
Because really, when people come and train with you, they're going to sort of spend a day at a time, aren't they?
Absolutely. Well, I teach weekends as well. My IMT, intensive medium training, is a whole weekend, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, once a month for 6 months. So that's how I train usually. So I run circles and things like that as well, but I like to spend time with my mediums and kind of help them to grow.
Do you think mediumship is actually on the up? Is it becoming, not exactly popular, that's the wrong word, do you think it's becoming more of a vocation for more people?
I think over the last sort of 3 or 4 years it's become a little bit like that, and which is a good thing, but it's also, there's negatives to it as well, where people are doing a 6-week course and then believing that they can go out and do readings. So, you've got to have the stamina for it, you've got to have the dedication for it as well, and do it. I know that I am a known medium, but I don't do it for that reason. I do it because I help people.
Yes.
And there's a lot of sacrifices in dedicating your life to mediumship as well. It's not all glitz and glamour, as you know. So, but no, I think if anyone's curious, that's what I try and do, just open people's minds. Yeah. And I do read, and even in my demonstrations, I will always find the muggle. I'll always find the man that's dragged along, that didn't believe, that's left with an open mind, and that's my job done,
Absolutely, to bring about that transformation.
Yeah.
So lots of mediums work in different ways, and I'm so fascinated to talk to them about how it works.
Yeah.
You knew you were coming here today.
Yeah.
Your guides presumably knew you were coming here today.
Yep.
You had 12 messages come through. Did you have 12 people queuing up, patiently waiting ever since last week?
No,
this morning? Or did they not turn up until the last minute?
About 2 minutes before I started.
Oh, really?
That's it. They don't annoy me until I'm ready to work.
Because some people might travel into London and say they were on the train with them, and they've been with them all the time waiting, and they're waiting to find the person to match to that guide.
But if you're open for that long, if I drove here today, but if I'd have travelled in on the train, then I might have picked up somebody on the train, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's somebody for here. And it's also the minute you start working, you're draining your battery. Okay. So that if I'd have travelled here, my battery would have started draining. So then any bits of information I've got will get clouded, and you don't know if they're right or if they're wrong. Yeah. My last connection was from a gentleman that kept saying, "I'm Henry VIII, I am," and pacing up and down as if you are going to talk to me. That was my last. He obviously realised this is her last one. I'm gonna be there. But so I'm sure the spirit world know, because they're travelling with their family members. But no, I don't make a connection until I'm literally starting.
So does that require? You're talking about training and the importance for lots of detailed training. That discipline, that strength of keeping those kind of filters, those boundaries in place, and switching it on and off is absolutely crucial for being able to do this properly.
Well, I believe so, because otherwise you're going to be a crazy person walking around the streets, and the spirit world is part of this world. You don't want to look like a crazy person. You want to be disciplined. You want to use your energy for the right time and the right moment. Yeah. I hear about a lot of people going and have their nails done, and then the nail lady is sort of like doing someone's nails. Oh, I'm a medium and I've got a message for you. Well, that's rude, because you wouldn't expect a hairdresser to walk in right now and cut her hair.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you'd think, what on earth are you doing? So when you put it in real terms, what are they doing? Why are they doing that?
Etiquette.
Exactly. Yeah. And you don't know what religion that person is. You don't know what that person's been through. And if you're just kind of like throwing it away, you're not doing the spirit world, yourself, or the person.
It can be very disturbing, I think. So, but if somebody's come to a demonstration, or if somebody's come to you for a private consultation, you know that they're in the right headspace to say, if I get a message through, or I'm open to any message that might come through, and they've made that kind of agreement, haven't they? They've given their consent.
Made a conscious decision to be there, haven't they? But even when I'm giving evidence, people are still a little bit sort of yes, I do understand all that, but how do you know all that? You know, so you're working with all different kinds of energies. You know, like today, I've had a lot of mediums in my audience as well for both my workshop and my dem. And that was quite nice, you know, so hopefully I'm inspiring other mediums to, you know, take their work further. I hope I have, anyway.
Because your workshop, well, you know, we kind of knew that was already aimed at people who were beginners or maybe just curious, and even people who were in circle. You were able to accommodate all of that.
Everybody.
So you've clearly got that whole cross-section of people and a lot of practitioners coming forward.
But even the working mediums that I work with today, when I showed them sort of like how I work and how I teach my babies, as it were, they got something from that as well. You know, so it's a different way of working, it's a different way of thinking. I'm not saying it's different better, it's just different, you know. And if you can take a few tools from other mediums, why not?
I keep getting the word refinement as you say that. So you're helping people refine their skills. I really like the kind of discipline and the focus that I can get from you about how you approach this. Because you're not just always doing one-to-ones are obviously very intimate, very personal, but to go out in front of a large audience, it's that interesting balance of bringing forward those sensitive messages and also holding the energy of the room and being a performer.
You've got to do it all, and no one teaches you that. You know, that's got to come from confidence, and you know, and it takes time to do that as well. And if you haven't got that kind of personality also, I mean, people can be good mediums, but they're not necessarily good demonstrating mediums, you know. So, and again, I'm not dissing anybody. No, it's just know where you are workable, you know, for spirit, and stick to that.
And some mediums bring in quite a bit of humour into their dems, and it breaks the energy. Is that what works with you?
Not through any choice. I have been called a comedian, is what I've been.
A comedian?
Yes.
Is that your guide? Is one of your guides a bit of a joker?
Oh my word, yes, he is, absolutely. And if he starts, you know, God help us all. But yeah, no, I think, well, some of my messages are very serious, and you know, I've had messages from a dad that was telling his son that never believed in any of this about his pile cream, you know, and this poor man was absolutely mortified that his dad was talking about his piles in front of an audience of, you know, a couple of hundred people, however many, I don't know. And the guy was laughing, and so it kind of took the edge off of it for him as well. You know, you can't bring a serious message through if your dad's talking about piles.
No,
you know?
exactly.
But then if I'm bringing a child through for a mother, the energy is completely different, and it's
quite in terms of time. It's not that long. You go from one energy to another, and there has to be the space to handle that sensitively.
Absolutely,
and then gently move on, isn't it?
So there's so many things to think about, isn't there?
Oh wow. Do you like being in an exhibition as big as this, because there's so many different disciplines and traditions and energies and yoga and singing bowls and everything going on? You know, how do you find that energetically when you're doing this work that's quite a clear channel?
I don't take any notice of it, so I literally, you know, and that's no disrespect to anyone that's working here, because there's some amazing people that are here, but I do have to kind of shut myself down to it, because especially when you've got the bells going or the bowls, that disturbs my energy. I'm not really keen on that. And then you've got you know, like the music that's going on, so I just ignore it literally. But where I was working was a very quiet room, so I was very lucky. I wouldn't have wanted to demonstrate in here, you know. So
it would have been virtually impossible.
And I don't think I would enjoy reading here, you know, in these. And you know, again, some people can do it. I can't. You know, I would find it very. And especially with what I do, it's so kind of like you go to the rawness of you know, of people passing, of death. You know, I know we're saying that death doesn't exist, but someone has died in their lives. You know?
That transition is very emotional.
You've got to use the real word, haven't you? You know, so I don't really think I would like my clients sort of here going off, but there is a place for a lot of the psychics that are working, you know. So, and they all seem to be doing, you know, the aura photography. I've had my aura photographed, which was quite fun.
What colour was it?
It was bright red.
Bright red, yes. Lovely.
I thought of our conversation the other day about Sekhmet, so we can talk about that on a Halloween show, maybe. The goddess that I'm bringing with me.
Exactly. Well, you know, that's a nice segue. You are going to be a guest on our live Halloween show on Thursday. We're so looking forward to it. Now, I thought that we could talk about this interesting bridge that's starting to happen in two different camps, which is the goddess, the magical, the pagan interests, and their versions of mediumship in inverted commas. And bringing through the goddess, and then more traditional spiritualism and mediumship, which sometimes has been known, no offence intended, to be a little bit rigid and have barriers of we only do it this way, we don't like anything over there. And I just always feel that there's been a little bit of fear there. And some pagans are really anti-mediumship with a capital M. And they're so convinced that people who do demonstrations are putting it on and faking it because they don't like the showmanship that has to go with it. So it's very interesting, this blend of worlds, and you are a blend of these worlds.
I am, my background is very pagan, and I decided to follow my mediumship rather than to follow going down a high priestess road as well. I made a clear decision for that. But a lot of the witches that I was working with, when I very first started, were telling me you cannot be a medium and invoke a goddess. And so I thought, okay, well, I can't.
But that's not true.
No, it's not true. So I thought, well, like I have done with mediumship, but it's I don't
Break
like
the rules.
I don't like rules. There are no rules. We're talking about, different incarnations. Why could you not work with a goddess if I'm going to work with a spirit guide? So it's okay for me to work with a Native American spirit guide, but I couldn't work with Diana.
Now that's interesting, because I was ordained as an oracular priestess in the Fellowship of Isis, where they bring through goddesses, and you speak an oracle to people, which is effectively mediumship. So I meet a lot of mediums who go to me, "You're a medium, aren't you?" And I have to be really careful how I present that in the psychic world, because even if I do sometimes get a message through, I will never put it through as my main job title, because I don't always get that. It's a different. It's like tuning in the radio receiver to different frequency. So I call it mediumship with a small m, because it's a skill set rather than the actual genre.
But if you put medium into the real terms, we are a medium, which means we are a channel, or we are a messenger. Like the angelic channels, but we are a messenger. So that's the medium. We are the tool for whoever and whatever needs to communicate.
See, I think what's happening now is that there are all these different areas where there's sometimes been barriers, like the spiritualists, no offence intended again, might not have liked the pagans. The pagans might not have liked the platform mediums. That sometimes yoga people don't like psychics, and sometimes some people are doing all of them. I think it's time we throw all the labels away, because they've got residues of judgment, and we just have to throw that out the window and just be and do be free to use all the skills that we're guided to use, because we're calling on so many different past lives and channeled kind of knowledge that we should just be doing that.
Well, you have guidance that comes from sort of pagan times, like witches or old seers or old sorceresses, however you want to call it. I mean, Merlin, or not Merlin, the Merlin, which were a group of people, as you probably know. It wasn't one man with a white beard, it was a group of people, the Merlin, and they work a lot with mediums as well, But when you try and explain that to someone, they're like, hold on a minute, that Merlin was a wizard and Merlin was this. It's like,
I've seen the TV series,
it's a great series though.
It's
I love
lovely,
that.
I know.
I do like, my cat's called Merlin because of that series. But I like the idea that we're working with a group of people, like the Merlin, not one man with a beard,
Group consciousness.
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow. So what have you got coming up, Tracy? Have you what's coming up? Obviously we've got the Halloween show on Thursday, but what's in store for you over the winter months?
I'm travelling, touring, teaching as usual at my centre in Hertford, which I love working there.
And what's that called?
It's called the Dragonfly Centre. So
what's the website?
www.tjhiggs.com. And I'm very excited, I have a radio show starting on the 2nd of November. It's called Second City Radio. It's an internet channel, and we reach all over, so all over the world, which is very cool.
Wonderful.
And it's not run by Ofcom, so I can talk about spirit and mediumship and do all my things without worrying about what I'm saying, so I'm really looking forward to that. So those details will be on my website, or at Tracy Higgs Twitter and Tracy Higgs Facebook, and Google me or something.
So we're coming up to full moon, we're coming up to Halloween. It's a very intense time. Have you got a message for the viewers out there?
Well, we are coming to the end of a stage. I mean, everybody was probably aware that sort of August and September have been very hard months, and it's almost like we're having winter before we're actually having the winter. That's how it feels to me. And I believe as we go into sort of November, and as we go through the full moon, November, December, January are more like spring months. It's like the months are all sort of out of sync, really, and with all the planets being out of sync and the moons. So I think kind of treat Halloween. I always treat Halloween like New Year's Eve. That's how I do it. So don't wait until December to make all your do your rituals, or make all your when you give up
wishes,
stuff and all this, all your wishes.
Resolutions,
that's the word. Do your wishes now, and write down an affirmation of everything that you want to achieve. Don't wait till New Year, start now.
What would your affirmation be for the coming year?
Just keep working hard. Work hard. No, I think I'm going into a new phase myself of my mediumship, and I think my wishes are just so that I can keep helping people, you know. And I've got some projects coming up, so.
But you're not allowed to talk about them yet,
not yet,
No,
but as soon as I can, I will come onto Oracle TV and I shall tell you all about it.
Lots of very exciting projects, but.
Yeah, it's rubbish, isn't it?
Thank you so much for joining us, Tracy.
You're welcome.
After such a busy day you've had, I know there's lots of people want to talk to you. Thank you for watching the Oracle TV pop-up studio at My Body Soul Experience Alexandra Palace. See you soon.